I can't. I'm certainly not intelligent enough to understand something as perverse as this. The Palestinians have betrayed their own people. This was a moment when finally the international community endorsed the allegations of war crimes, and it would have been an opportunity to vindicate the struggle of the Palestinian people for their rights under international law, and for the Palestinians' representatives in the UN themselves to seem to undermine this report is an astonishing development.
And what does it mean going forward? Does it mean this report is all but dead? Where does it go from here?
We don't know what will happen. Formally, it's just been delayed. But the report will be very important in at least two respects. One is that it has exposed the inadequacy of Palestinian representation at an international level. And secondly, it will be a very strong incentive for NGOs and citizen groups around the world to continue their efforts as part of the global solidarity movement that's supporting the Palestinian struggle and is really the sequel to the anti-apartheid campaign of the 1980s that was so effective in finally undermining the legitimacy of the racist regime in Pretoria.
You know Judge Goldstone quite well. You know he's come under intense criticism from the Israeli side. Is he someone, from your knowledge, who would be even remotely biased against Israel?
No, my sense is that Israel should have been extremely happy that he was chosen, because he is a person with a long record of involvement with Israel. He's a Zionist by conviction. He has family connections in Israel. He was a member of the Board of Trustees of Hebrew University. He had many things. But it may be that Israel, precisely because he is so credible, found it unfortunate that he was the head of this fact-finding mission, because he is hard to discredit. And they have often, as in my own case, tried to discredit the messenger so they don't have to talk about the message.
Let me just ask you finally, as someone who's got a long experience of working with the United Nations, what do you think this does to the credibility of this organization, that a report like this, an important report, would be stopped in its tracks?
I think, again, it is disillusioning for people that had hoped that the United Nations would finally, after the Bush presidency, serve as a venue where Palestinian rights would be fairly protected. And this is a setback, there's no question. But I think the struggle continues, and the UN is a place where important things happen. And even the repudiation of the Goldstone report has these significant effects of exposing the inadequacy of Palestinian representation and of encouraging civil society activism with respect to boycotts and disinvestment and sanctions. So there are real tangible consequences. So we shouldn't write off the UN, but we shouldn't be too sentimentally expectant that it will serve the cause of global justice consistently.